if you take a step back, the department came to Tynwald with a harbour strategy, which talked about obviously the Douglas Harbour and the wider issues around cruise berths, which got a lot of the headlines. But it also talked about improving our marina operations on the island. And at the moment, we've got obviously Douglas and Peel marinas, both of which have some challenges around them. And the view was there was an opportunity to improve our offering, and there's been a lot of talk in the past around, particularly around Port St Mary and Port Erin possibly, and Ramsey's had some proposals in the past. So there's been noise around the area, and I think the island, as the work that we've done shows, it's got strong connection to the sea, obviously, and a high level of boat ownership, and potentially an opportunity to improve our offering in this space. And then, of course, last year, and earlier this year, as it became public, but the team putting together the Ramsey Marina proposition, they stepped forward and had some initial discussions with the department, and clearly there's an appetite from those people to take their thoughts further forward. But the department has to obviously do things in proper order, as the Chief Minister said at the time. There was a process to go through. So,
was this expressions of interest phase planned? Was this part of this formality, or has this been prompted by Ellis Brown, for example, going public with their plans?
It's certainly not. It's nothing to do with the Ellis Brown proposition, which came forward last week completely from left field and wasn't something that the department knew anything about. And still doesn't, to be honest, other than what's in the public domain. This very much came out of the harbour strategy, and then also the ongoing conversations with the people putting together the Ramsey proposition, which obviously there's quite a lot of work gone in the background from those people, and there's been conversations with the department over a sustained period of time. They obviously made their plans public and attract a lot of interest, which is good to see. But obviously, there's a lot to go through before those plans can become reality. And one of the key things is obviously anybody developing a marina on the island, whether it's in Ramsey or anywhere else, needs to use government assets in terms of land and foreshore and things like that. So it's important that there's a proper process behind it. And by doing this expressions of interest, we're doing that. We're putting it through effectively the same parameters as a normal procurement exercise. So,
but this particular announcement does have focus on Douglas and Peel. There is no mention of Ramsey. Does this though have implications for that scheme?
This is all island. This is anybody who's interested in developing marinas on the island, marina proposition on the island. So it's not specific to Douglas. It's not specific to Ramsey. It's not specific to any part of the island.
But that's the preference, though, isn't it? Peel and Douglas.
No. Peel and Douglas is where we have marinas at the moment. There are existing marinas. They've both got challenges. This is about anybody who wants to come forward and develop a marina. So in fact, actually, Peel and Douglas are not really what we're envisaging here. We're talking about new developments. So clearly, we're expecting the team behind the Ramsey proposition to formally express their interest and then go through the various different stages of the process, and of course anybody else who wishes to come forward with a proposition will be able to do that. They'll have to go through a process to qualify their interest and make sure it's credible, and then they'll be evaluated.
Why do we need all these marina developments?
Well, we need to see if the market wants to develop them. I mean, what we're saying here is, as government, we've got an interest in seeing improved marinas for the reasons that I touched on earlier. We know there's some appetite out there we know that from Ramsey, from the team behind that, and we've heard about the Douglas proposition via Ellis Brown. So the market will tell us whether there's the interest and the ability to deliver. But so government is facilitating. Government's not putting money into this. Government is just going through a process to say, if you're interested, come forward. We've got a proper process. and then we can go through. But it will allow the Ramsey people to at least move forward with the process. And I did hear Mr. Doricott earlier in the week talking about their readiness to move forward. So this at least gives them the opportunity to move forward, and anybody else who may have a desire to develop a marina. So, there has been some communication in the south of the island suggesting there may be appetite down there. So really, it's now up to people to come forward and put their best foot forward.
In relation to our current facilities, it is, made clear in the harbour strategy that there does need to be perhaps an expansion to cater for long waiting lists and larger berths. What is the current situation?
Well, the current situation is that we believe there are more people wanting marina berths on the island than are currently available through the two facilities in Peel and Douglas. So, answering your previous question, to me that gives a strong indication that there is demand, and clearly, the people behind the Ramsey Marina certainly think there's demand, and I don't know what the Ellis Brown proposition is based on, or how far they've taken their thinking, but certainly, that would give us a sense that there will be a positive interest in this.
And what are your thoughts on the Ellis Brown proposal? Is it something you'd take seriously?
Well, all I can say is we don't know very much about it other than what's in the public domain.
And they've not engaged in this formal process as of yet?
Well, the process has only just gone live today, so I would expect them to come forward and engage. But it's a very different approach than we saw with the Ramsey Marina people, where there was some very early and in-depth engagement.
When there's comparisons with Pier 39 in San Francisco, does government's eyes light up?
In what?
In relation to this marina for Douglas Bay?
I'm not going to comment on the Douglas Bay proposition. I don't know what substance there is behind it. I don't know who's behind it. I don't know what the business case is for them. All we're saying is, if they've got a proposition, they can come forward. If they think they can make something stack up that makes sense for the island, then there's a process for them to follow. But I'm certainly not going to comment on specifics of their proposition.